weird, right? And how to be weird and being weird adds value. You can add value to your relationships. And when I talk about being weird, I use this term called the inner oddball, right? It's the thing that is within you that makes you unique, that makes you different. And you can take that and you can impact relationships. You can make your relationship richer. You can make your business, more exciting. You can make your life completely different if you become who you are. Stop fighting against it. Stop trying to fit in with everybody else, because if you're trying to fit in with everybody else, you're just another number and you are not meant to be that. So for about 15 minutes tonight, I want to encourage you, because we're going to recap what we've been talking about all week. And I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to put the challenge out there. What's up, Gigi? Right? I'm going to put the challenge out there for you to do something, right? So on Tuesday this week, we talked about all of our stories, looking at all of our stories and seeing the value in everything: good, bad, ugly, painful, the things that brought you joy, the things that brought you sorrow, the highest of high moments in your life, the lowest of lows. We all have all of them. We're going to have some good days. We're going to have some bad days. We're going to have some days where what's happening, Chuck House? We're going to have, hey, Simply Jess. We're going to have some days where things don't work out. We're going to have times of grieving. We're going to have times of joy. For everything that happens in life, there's a season for everything, right? And so when we look at life and we know that there's a season for everything, we can also look and see, all right, all this stuff that's happened, where I'm from, what family I was born into, what neighborhood I'm from, what dreams I have, what I accomplished in life, all of this stuff can work together for our good, right? When you start applying this towards your purpose, all of this works together for our good. Right. And so we can look at it. How can going through this situation work together for my good? How can it be that going through the divorce works together for my good? How can it be being sick or losing a loved one? How can that work together for my good? Well, here's how we do it. Last night, we started taking inventory of all these things, started putting them together, and we started looking at them as not just one ingredient, not just a solo ingredient, but we started thinking about how could we mix these different experiences together? How can you take what you've been through, right? When you start looking, you take an inventory, and hopefully you've written it down. When you start writing down things that have been said to you that hurt your feelings, things that pumped you up and encouraged you, if you just start writing down as much stuff as you can look at them as ingredients in your life. Then you can take those ingredients, just like if you're baking a cake, and you can say, all right, this is what I'm going to do. If I take this bit of heartbreak, this experience with heartbreak, with this knowledge of what I know, and this experience of what I've wanted to achieve, and these people with who I'm around, I can now start to create a unique formula. I can create a unique and valuable situation. So let me give you an example of what I did with this. I grew up, I had low self-esteem. I felt bad about the way that I looked, right? I felt I would walk around with my head down because people would make fun of my lips. Girls would say, oh, you have such big lips. And they would talk about my lips. So I had low self-esteem. I did not value and hold myself in high esteem. That, and I was short. Okay. I still am short. That, you don't hear anybody say short, dark, and handsome. No. Everybody says tall, dark, and handsome. But anyway, I'm short. I don't feel good about my face. I'm short and stocky, and I have muscular legs and a round butt. And so being in school, all these things get you teased. Now, I didn't think about this back then this way, but my legs, my build, my size, stop laughing, Bianca. All this, it was all a part of a unique design. My legs, I run fast. I can run very fast. I can jump high, very explosive, because of the way that I'm built. The muscles in my legs, the way that I'm designed, gave me an advantage on the athletic field, right? Gave me an advantage. But I didn't see that all back then. I didn't see it that way. Long story short, I moved through life. I'm gaining self-esteem. I go to college, right? My last years of high school, I start going to college. I start lifting weights. My body just changes, and I like it. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Having went through a lot of low self-esteem, and I went into college, and I'm in this place and I start developing my muscles and my body starts looking different. I actually prayed for a while. I was like, Lord, could you just let some people think that I'm sexy? I just, I've always been the nice guy. I've always been that guy. I've always been the nice guy, but I didn't want to just be the nice guy. I wanted to be the attractive guy. I was like, Lord, could you, could you let me be seen as the attractive, sexy guy? Right. I mean, I got muscles now. I'm built. I was like, can I have that? I'm just being honest, just being honest. Coming out of that place of low self-esteem, I started feeling really good about myself, so my body was looking good. I felt good running down the street with no shirt on. I'm like, I feel good about me. So yeah, I prayed about it. I'm like, Lord, can somebody think that I look good? Okay. So that started to happen. After a while, I was like, okay, I'm over that. I was like, okay, I don't want to be that anymore. So be careful what you pray, because sometimes you will be granted that prayer. I didn't want it. I really didn't want that. I was like, first of all, side note, people thought that was sexy, and then they want to engage in activities with me. I wasn't going to do that with them, so it was a waste. It was a waste for them to be like, "Oh, I'm so turned on by you." Sorry, nothing. It's nothing jumping. I'm not engaging with that. I'm not doing that. Right. So that being said, I backed off of that. I live in Philadelphia. So I backed off of that, move forward some more. I get out of college. I go to massage therapy school. I go through crazy, heartbreaking divorce, find myself in the gym. I'm back to just helping people. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go into the gym, have a job as a fitness trainer, personal trainer. I'm gonna do this in the gym. And so I'm in this gym, and I'm just serving all kinds of clients, right? Just serving everybody. But as I was in this gym, this is where your story starts coming into play. I started seeing some things differently. While I'm going through this heartbreaking moment in life, I start seeing some things differently. And I see some women, and they're just always on the treadmill. They're just always on the treadmill. So I start talking to people. I'm like, hey, what's your goal? What do you want to achieve? Oh, I want to lose weight. Oh, so what's the issue? I don't know what to do. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to look like a man. Okay, cool. So as I'm talking to more and more women, I'm seeing a pattern. I see that a lot of the trainers aren't serving these women that wanted to lose weight. And I'll tell you why, because a lot of the trainers, they want to work with the girls that they want to go on dates with. So that's the clients they go after. They want to go after the girl they can get their number and spend time with her so they can go on dates. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how this thing works. I was like, I'm here for impact. I want to make an impact. And so I'm taking this, and these women, many of these women, they had low self-esteem. They didn't see themselves as beautiful. They didn't see themselves as being these amazing women. They didn't think that they were strong. And so I'm looking at them, I'm like, these women, they kind of look like me. Not physically, because I have muscles. I have abs. I'm ripped up. And they know, they're like, you're gonna help me as a woman? Like, you're a dude. I don't want to look like you. I was like, don't worry about that. I'm going to help you. We're going to transform your life. We're going to transform your body. And I started sharing with them out of my brokenness, out of my low self-esteem, out of going through some dark times and some situations, and knowing what it felt like to be living in your body and not feel good about your body, to feel overlooked. I was like, I get it. I had a woman tell me, more than one, they felt so ashamed for what that scale number said. I was like, I know what it's like to feel ashamed. I used to walk around with my head down, literally walking around with my head down. Someone once stopped me and asked me, why do you always walk around with your head down? That's how bad it was. So my story, I connected with their story. That's okay. But here's what made me odd. I was a guy. I'm a man. I have muscles. I'm an athlete, and I'm working with women that many of them were moms, not necessarily athletes. They hadn't seen themselves as athletes. They'd been called everything but an athlete, but they had dreams and they had goals. So I'm in the gym and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna create a program. I'm gonna create a whole program that's gonna develop sisterhood and community. And these women, they're gonna work together in small groups, and we're gonna train, and we're gonna build this community, and we're gonna build this sisterhood. And they're gonna know they're beautiful and they're amazing and they're strong. And I'm gonna challenge them. I'm gonna challenge them on a high level. I'm like, oh no. Listen, many of them would say, "Oh, we don't go over to the boys section in the gym." I'm like, "Oh no, you're with me. We go everywhere in this gym." We worked so much in this gym. We basically took over. People started to complain. Men started to complain. They're taking all the bench presses. They're taking all the squat racks. Because I was like, no, ladies, no, come on. I'm going to show you how to use all this stuff. We're going to train over here. They're using dumbbells, bench presses, squat racks. They're doing it all. So much so, see, I'm their fearless leader. See, this is what happens. You become the fearless leader wherever you're called to be. When you start to realize your weirdness, your oddness makes you the fearless leader, when you decide to go, changes the game. And it can happen in your family, in your business, in your community, wherever you may be. So I became their fearless leader. I was like, ladies, we can go anywhere. Matter of fact, what are your dreams? Because whatever your dream is, we're going to do that too. And if you don't have anybody else that wants to do your dream with you, I'll do your dream with you. Bianca's here. She's one of those ladies. She was in the gym. She said, yeah, I know I'm still her fearless leader. I haven't seen her in a couple of years. I'm still her fearless leader. Because she knows at the drop of a dime, if she says, "B, I'm ready. I want to accomplish something," I'm gonna say, "Let's go." What are we gonna do? So here's what happens. We start moving forward. We're taking territory. We're doing things. We're accomplishing things. So much so that the man that owns the gym says, "Look, I'm gonna designate this whole part of the gym for you in your program. And as a matter of fact, here's my credit card. You buy all the equipment that you need to train these women because you are the top performing trainer in the gym." He gave me his credit card. He was like, "Go ahead, buy what you want, buy what you need." We bought all kinds of barbells, bumper plates. We bought some stuff, not just for show, because we were getting the job done. Lives were being changed. And what I'm telling you is, when you take an inventory of your story, that's what I said on Monday, look at everything, good, bad, ugly, everything. Then you start to look at all the pieces and say, how can I, what can I do with this? If I put this with this, right? And I'm a man of faith. So I add all that stuff in. And so I develop a program. I name it Cinderella Strong, and tell all the ladies, you have the power to transform your life. Just like this girl, Cinderella, every woman has the power to transform her life. This is my conviction, right? And I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to train 5 areas of life: health, heart, hopes, haven, heirs, meaning children, and legacy. We're going to address those 5 areas so you become a complete woman. It's not just about your body. Why? Because I had to learn that for me. It couldn't just be about my body. Lord, make me sexy to somebody. That wasn't enough. No, because I would have been empty. Someone would have just used me for my body. That would have been it. No, I need to be a complete person. And I was like, I relate to these women. These people that they were being overlooked. People that didn't think they were good enough, didn't think they were pretty enough, didn't think they were beautiful, didn't think that they had something to give. People that might have been abused or mistreated. I was like, no, that's the cinder. See, a cinder is something that was once on fire and then it burns out. Ella is the word used for beauty. Cinderella, something that was burned out, and beauty in the same name. So all of these women had the possibility of seeing beauty for their ashes. They could take the ashes, the cinders of their life, and still see beauty. See, that's kind of weird. Like, what? You came up with all that out of a cartoon movie? Yeah. But there's also a passage in Isaiah chapter 61 in the Bible where God says, I will give you beauty for ashes. It all worked together. I'm a man of faith. It's kind of weird. It all came together. It's kind of weird. Behind me right now, I have a glass slipper sitting on my bookshelf. That's kind of weird, but it makes me special to somebody. See, when you think about your life and you start to examine it, you're not going to be special to everybody, but somebody needs the weird that you offer. Perhaps you're in a relationship with someone and they don't value you and they don't appreciate you and you're just doing time with them. That might not be the person that you need to be with. Your weird may not be meant for them. So yeah, sometimes you got to go in and reevaluate your relationships and say, let me really look at this thing because my weird doesn't necessarily work for them. See, I know, like I can start going through, I know who I'm called to, right? When you start to really develop it and focus in on looking at your story, not despising your story, but you start honoring your story, you can put it together. You can start seeing like, you know what? My life has purpose. Who am I meant to serve? And you start looking for who you're meant to serve. Who do you really connect with? Who, when you're with them, who do you see begin to flourish when you're around them? Whose life is enhanced when you are around them? And when you are around them, your life is enhanced as well. Because this is not a one-way street. This is not just pouring out, pouring out, pouring out, and nothing coming back in. No, if you're pouring out and you're seeing fruit and growth happening, the fruit of the relationship should bear fruit that you can consume that causes you to grow too. But you got to take action. So you look at your story, then you start looking at the pieces. How do these ingredients work together? You start coming up with a weird recipe. What makes you special? And then the thing we do today, you serve it. You try it. When I made up my first flyer in the gym for this women's only training group. And initially it was called Ladies Only Lift. And I had them up and they were by the women's bathrooms. And I'll never forget this. My picture wasn't on it. It was a picture of a woman on it exercising. And there were these two girls and they were standing there and they were looking at the flyer and they were ridiculing it. They were mocking it. They were like, this is so stupid. And I was standing right there. I'm like, this is my thing. And I was listening to them laugh. They were ridiculing the dream. They were ridiculing the idea. But here's what I know. It was a ridiculous idea. They laughed at it. But there was this time I was studying and I was like, let's look at the ridiculous request of the Almighty. Like so many things are ridiculous when you think about, let's think about nature. That from a seed, a tree can be birthed. From a seed. From a seed, a human can be birthed. That's ridiculous. That sounds stupid, right? When you start thinking about it, like that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to think that somebody thought that toilet paper was a good idea. And initially that was probably ridiculous too. It was ridiculous when someone thought that a car was a good idea. Because like we've been riding horses all this time and walking and we did, covered wagons. And so you're going to make a car? What? That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Meaning somebody is probably going to laugh at you. So what? Someone needs you. See, the girls that were laughing at the program, they were never a part of it. It wasn't for them. They weren't my people. They already thought they had everything together. They didn't need me. They were good. They were like, I'm good. That wasn't my people. I wanted to work with women that wanted to lose 40 or more pounds. I wanted that. You know why? Specifically, I wanted that. Why? Because I knew 40 pounds, you're not going to lose that overnight. 40 pounds, that's not a 2-week project. We're going to develop I'm a relationship person. I said, so I know I'm going to be able to have a relationship with this person. We're going to be able to talk about things. We're going to be able to change a mindset, see life differently. When my ladies, that 40 pounds, people started showing up. I want to lose 50. I want to lose 75. I want to lose 100. So here's what I know. If someone walks up to me and they say, Brian, can you help me lose 100 pounds? Do you know what I say? In my mind, I say, I just started a year-long relationship at minimum. See, based upon what they desired for their life, I knew immediately how long our relationship at minimum was going to be. But it worked for me. I didn't want the quick fix. Let me just throw some supplements at you. You take these 5 pills and everything's going to melt. No, no, nope. We got to go deeper than I wanted a deep connection. I wanted a relationship. I wanted the long term. Let's lose 100 pounds. Cool. And I would turn around and say, this time next year, this is what we see. This is what it'll be. That's weird. There are people in my phone right now that, well, there's one person. Every year, she'll let me know it's our anniversary. She's like, it's our anniversary. She's like, we have another year. Do you know we've been together 7 years? She told me this year, she's like, you know, you're the longest standing relationship I've ever had with a man. She's like, you're my trainer. She's like, that's not even normal. She's like, you're still here. You're still dedicated to being here for me. Her life has changed. She's reached her goals, but now she checks in. Hey, now it's different. She looks at herself and I think I'm gaining weight. I'm like, look, relax. Now it's a different mindset. We're talking about different things. I'm like, look, stop looking in the mirror. Stop judging yourself so hard. Look at yourself. Don't be that woman that is so beautiful, but loses it the moment she begins to speak because you diminish yourself all the time. Just conversation. This is my weird. My weird is I'm going to be here for you. It's a part of my weird. You got to find what makes you weird. Everybody's not built for the long run. I am. I tell people all the time, if I'm in your life, you pretty much stuck with me unless you decide that you're going to walk away. You got to know. You got to know. But part of that comes from my story. Growing up, traveling, moving from different cities. And I didn't grow up with necessarily best friends all in one place. So for me, having the stability of long-term relationships, I find comfort in that. That's a part of my makeup. So who do I want in my life? People that want long-term relationships, people that want to achieve something and do something and do life together. Those are the people that I want in my life. Right? Like I got an invitation in the mail today from a young man that I don't even know, probably good 8 years ago, was in high school. I got an invitation because he's getting married. I'm like, you were a young boy in high school when I met you. And now you're getting married. It's incredible. How do I know him? I trained his mother. So by working with his mother, I became a part of their family. He sends me an invitation to his wedding. He calls me Uncle B. Long-term relationships. Don't discount your story. It may be hard to look at times. You might think, oh no, I don't want to look at the abuse. I don't want to look at the mistreatment. I don't want to revisit those things. I know it can be hard, but when you start to look at all those things and keep in mind that all things are working together for my good, because I'm called according to a purpose, right? God has a purpose for your life. You might be thinking, I don't even believe in God. I don't care. I'm gonna tell you anyway. God has a purpose for your life. And so God take all these things, the Almighty will take all these things and you can work it together for your good and it becomes part of your recipe. And you take this recipe and you start figuring out, what have I been through? What have I gone through? What have I accomplished? What have I done? If I do this and put this and I put this and I put this, I'm building a unique story. You have a unique story. And when you start to see this as a unique story of value, then you can take that unique story of value and begin looking around to say, who do I want to serve with this unique story? So I can add value to their life. It's fun. It's an opportunity that you have to be able to say, look, what makes me weird is what makes me special. I encourage, see, I work with a lot of young people, and a lot of young people, they'll say, like, oh man, I feel so odd. I feel so strange. Good. Discover, this is where it came from. Discover your inner oddball. Like, what makes you weird? A lot of people feel weird. I'm like, okay, great. If you feel weird, look for it. What makes you weird? What is it? What makes you stand out? I have a goat at the farm. His name is Cliff. I have Cliff because Cliff has a cleft palate, and you can look through his nose and see into his mouth. There are a lot of goats at that little pygmy goats. There are a lot of little goats at the pygmy goat farm when I went to look for goats. But when I saw Cliff with his cleft palate and his open mouth, I said, he's the one. Why? Because I know I can take Cliff and I can share a story with young kids, people, and say, look, because someone said this the other day. They're like, oh, he has a deformity. I said, no, he doesn't. He's not defective at all. That's his uniqueness. See, sometimes we think that the thing that makes us different makes us deformed. No, no. It makes you unique. He's not deformed because he's not comparing himself to anyone else. See, if he thinks his form isn't good enough, that's the problem. But he's not thinking that. He's going around. Today, he was walking around. He had straw just hanging out the side of his open mouth. Just walking around. And today at the farm, there were 10, 11, 12 little kids there. They were like 3, 4 years old. And Cliff with his little self standing there. He just let those kids just rub on them and touch them. And he had a job to do. Right now, the little goat with the cleft palate is being inspiration. He's an inspiration to you. I'm sharing this story with you. He's a goat with a cleft palate. But his uniqueness gives him a story. Why he was wanted. Just stop discounting yourself. Stop discounting that. Stop discounting yourself. Stop looking at yourself and seeing the scars and think that those scars and those wounds discount you and make you ugly and all. No. Mm-mm. That's not God. There's this wonderful, I'm just going to share you. There's this wonderful passage in the Bible that says, you are altogether beautiful, my darling. There is no flaw in you. I think it's just an amazingly beautiful thing to be said, but I don't think enough people hear it. So much criticism about one another. But what if we could look at one another and hold one another in this place of unconditional positive regard? That I could look at you and see that you are a one of one, that you could look at yourself and see that you are a one of one. How amazing is a one of one? How valuable is a one of one? Think about anything in the world, anything that is a one of one, and consider the value of it. Consider the price tag that gets put on it. Huge. One of one. You are so valuable because you are a one of one with a distinct and unique reason for being here. So take all of your story, look at as much of it as you can, revisit it often, and then start to see how you can create little recipes based upon what you do. Start to see how you can take different things. You might not put everything together in one story at one time, but you can create little recipes like, oh, I can take this heartbreak, these dreams and aspirations, and these skills and put them together. Hmm, pretty cool. You can sing and you like to cook and you live in Antarctica. You're the singing cook from Antarctica. Cool. You stand out, right? So I encourage you. That's my challenge to you. My challenge to you is to press into this idea that you are a unique one of one. Think about how you can put your life together to actually make yourself stand out because of the very things that you have that you would want to hide about. Use those things to actually stand out. Don't let the enemy of your life and the enemy of your purpose get you into thinking that because you are this way, because you have this experience, you should definitely hide because no one wants to see that. And oh, how embarrassing that is. Don't do that. It all works together for your good. You have a purpose. So serve it to somebody. Just wanted to encourage you with that. Trust me, think about it again. I have a glass slipper, a program, business, sisterhood called Cinderella Strong. Now look at me. We can look at me and be like, that's weird, right? I'm a brother that created a sisterhood, helping women realize that they have the power to transform their life when they find that place where they fit in life. See, oftentimes people know the story, but they don't apply it to themselves. You got to find where you fit. If you were going to create yourself as an image and a persona and someone that's going to serve, what would you say? How could you package yourself? I went to a restaurant one time. I'm going to shut it down with this. I went to a restaurant one time and I was there and I was eating dinner. And at the time I finished eating my dinner, they bring me the bill. And so I put my card out and, I'm going to go through the whole paying for it process. So the girl takes my card and she goes to process it and she comes back and she's like, "You're Brian Shepard." And I said, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "You're Mr. Cinderella. You make women feel beautiful." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." She was like, "That's I became known for it because of that." I didn't make that up. She told me. She told me. Like that was cool to me. I'm not even gonna lie. I felt famous in that moment. I was like, wow. The thing that I thought about to serve someone's life made it to this person who I've never worked with. She knows me for that. There are kids today, they know me as Farmer Brian. It's okay. I like being 4-year-old famous. I like walking, in the I was in the store and somebody in 5th grader, they know me for sending messages and videos to their schools to encourage them. Coach Shep, they know me that way. See, you got to be okay with it. You got to be okay with your story and beginning to deliver it and serve somebody. Like little kids. I'm like, I might not be known the world over by whoever, but there are some 4-year-olds that know Mr. Brian, Farmer Brian. There are some 5th graders that know Coach Shep. I'm like, I'm 5th grade famous. Who can you serve? Because I need to ask you that because here's a reason why. The person that is waiting for you and waiting for your gift needs to know you. They need to know you because you're holding within you an answer to help them in life. So they need to know you. You cannot be the best kept secret. That's bad. That's not a good idea. You need to be known, maybe not by everybody, but you need to be known by those that you are called to serve and that you are gifted to serve and that your story serves. So if you're hiding, you are robbing that person of a breakthrough that is possibly meant for them. You're carrying an answer. You are a person of purpose. It can happen in your marriage, in your home, in your family, in your community, in your business, on your job, wherever you show up. Once you start to become the person that you are capable of being, game changer. You will be known by those that you are meant to serve and love. And it's good. That's why I'm here. That's why we're together. You're one of those people that I'm meant to serve and love. And so it's been a pleasure to be here tonight to encourage you to do the same thing. Somebody needs you, so don't be embarrassed about it. Stop being ashamed about it. Step into it. All right, let's shut it down the way that we do. I'm going to pray and just ask a blessing over your life. So whether or not you believe what I believe and how I believe, just hang out. Let me speak words of kindness into and over your life. They won't hurt. Trust me. Father, thank you for this day and the blessings of this day. Thank you for the gift of this moment, this day to rejoice and be glad, and a day to be reminded that all things in our life can work together for our good and the purpose that we are called to. And so tonight I pray that someone would be encouraged in their mind to look at their story, look at their experiences, look at their life, and begin to see that there is a recipe for service that is right there. If they would really begin to look at it and get excited about it and not be ashamed about it, but realize that there is some love for them to deliver because they made it through what they've been through. There's some love for them to deliver because they dreamed the dream and had the accomplishments that they've had. Because of whatever they have experienced in life, there is love available for them to share with somebody that needs them. So I pray that they would become the fearless leader that they are capable of being, that they would begin to break free from any self-doubt, low self-esteem, this idea that they don't have enough. I pray that the thought of lack would be just broken off of their life, that they could see that they have more than enough and that they are well able to make an impact in this world. Help them not to be hindered by what they see in the mirror, but help them to go forward with boldness and courage to love someone else, even as an act of loving themselves. So I pray that as they do, they would be strengthened. I pray that they would experience healing and wholeness and restoration in their lives and their families and their relationships and their finances. I pray that they would prosper even as they go into the world and make an impact. I pray that they would rest well tonight and be refreshed and renewed in their mind, their hearts, their bodies, their souls, their spirits, their emotions. I pray restoration and refreshing for each and every one. I pray that you would encamp angels of protection around them so that they would be protected and safe, and those that they love and care for as well. We thank you for these things and Thank you for the things that are already happening, those that will continue to happen. We thank you for things that will be done because we count them as done. And so we thank you in advance. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. What's the challenge for the night? Challenge for the night. Take action. You look at your story, see as much as you can, put together a recipe, start figuring out how you can be unique in your space, and then take action to serve someone. That's the challenge for tonight. You take action. You got this. I appreciate you all. Have a fantastic evening. Know that you can do this. I'm B.A. Shepherd, 2Ps, ARD, reminding you to be a shepherd. The world has enough sheep. Love you much. Good night. See ya.